All right, so we're going to be finding the determinants of different matrices today. And a determinant is just a number associated with a square matrix. So a square matrix meaning it's 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4, so on and so forth. Yes, the calculator will do this for you. The calculator that I showed y'all last week will do this for you, so you can use that to check your answers. I'll show you again where to find that at the end of the video. But you do need to show all the steps for these. It's not difficult once you learn the steps, and you can check it with a calculator, but like I said, you'll have to show your work and do the steps to get your homework done. So for a 2 by 2 matrix, to find the determinant, so notice that this is written over here, DET of, and then the matrix has like little square brackets like this, and then that's the same thing as saying just this with straight up and down braces, like for this picture. So if I simply saw something like, for example, this number 1, it just says find, and then it gives you these straight bars with the numbers inside, that means find the determinant. The straight bars signal you to find the determinant. And the way to do that is you take this A term, A1, multiply it by B2, get an answer, and subtract off A2 multiplied by B1. So in this example, we would do 7 times 6, and I want to see this written out, 7 times 6, and I would subtract off then 3 times 9. So 3 times 9 equals, so that'd be 42 minus 27, which is 15. So the determinant is equal to 15. All right, so determinants for larger matrices, like a 3 by 3 or a 4 by 4, we do those by using what's called a minor or a cofactor. So for instance, the minor of this particular term, A1, is this resulting determinant. So I would mark out anything like that, and then this left over, I would find the determinant for that, and that would be what I use to continue. If I want to use if I need to use a different term in the matrix, like let's say I needed to do it for C2. So here's C2. I would mark out everything on that same spot as C2, and so its minor would be A1, B1, A3, B3. If I wanted to do it for B2, here's how I would do that. So B2 is here right in the middle, so I mark out the things that go through there, and what's left over, those would be the 4 things I would find the determinant with for that particular one. So now we're going to do that for a 3 by 3 matrix. You can choose any row or column you want, and they have to follow a pattern, however. So we start with a positive, and then you alternate from there, signs. So let's look at example 2. I need to find the determinant for that matrix. And it's already written as find the determinant. Let's say I wanted to use row 1. So row 1 would be 8, 9, and 3. But I have to follow this pattern. And row 1's pattern is positive, negative, positive. So my 8's positive, my 9 is negative, my 3 is positive when I'm doing this determinant process using the minors of specific terms. So I'm going to first use the 8, and then 8's minor would be the determinant of 5, 7, 2, 4, because if you mark these out, that's what you have left. Then my next number would be the 9, because that's the second number in the row that I chose, and it's going to be a negative 9 according to the pattern from the top. And then what goes with the 9? Let me do a little bit of erasing here. All right, so here's my 9. I'd mark out those things that go with the 9. I'd be left with a 3, 7, negative 1, and 4. And then the last number in the first row is 3, and it's going to be positive. So we have plus 3, and then what goes with it? So with the 3, I would have left a 3, a 5, a negative 1, and a 2. And so now, if I find the determinant of each of these 3 things and multiply them by the number on the outside, and do a little simplification, that's going to give me the determinant of the whole 3 by 3 matrix. All right, so this first one I'd have 8, and then the determinant would be 20 minus 14, and then I'd have my minus 9, oops, parentheses, and I'd have 3 times 4, 12, minus a negative 7. And then the last one would be my positive 3, and then I'd have 3 times 2, which is 6, minus a negative 5. And now just doing some simplification, this would be 8 times 6, minus 9 times 19, plus 3 times 11. So I get 48 minus 171 plus 33, which equals negative 90. So the determinant from here is negative 90. Okay, to finish up, we're going to do a 4 by 4 determinant, and we're going to do it in the same process using the minors or cofactors of each individual thing in there. You can choose any row or any column, but remember it must follow a pattern. And so this is a larger matrix. I'm going to write out the pattern to the right. You always start with positive and then alternate. Positive, then negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. And you do that until you complete the whole 4 by 4. And I'll just do that real quick. And there you have it. And so you can choose any row or any column and match it with its pattern. I'm going to choose this last column because there's 2 zeros and it's going to cut down on some work for me. So that column would go with this one. So there's my signs that I'm going to use. So I'll start off with a negative 2, and behind it will be its determinant. So if this is the 2 I'm starting with, I mark out this row and this column, and I write what's left, which is a larger determinant than what we used last time. Remaining, so we're going to have to do a little more work than last time. And then I would go to the next term, which happens to be a 0. So this 0 would be plus 0. Now, its determinant would be everything that it's not, so this row, these 2 rows, but I don't have to worry about writing those because 0 times anything is 0. So it's going to save myself some time. The same is true for the next one because the next one's also 0. So I write minus 0. Doesn't matter what's behind it because it's going to end up as 0. And the last one would be this 3 plus 3. So plus 3. And then what goes with it is 1, 4, 0, negative 1, 3, 1. And 2, negative 1, negative 2. And then we're going to continue the process. We're going to find the determinant of this and add it to this stuff over here. All right. So now I have a 3 by 3 matrix to deal with. So I'm going to be doing negative 2 times, and then I'm going to have to do a little work here. So I can choose any row or any column from this right here. I'm going to choose this row because it has that 0 in it. And if you refer to the pattern on the previous page, you'll find that it starts off with a plus right here. So that'd be plus, minus. This would be plus, minus, plus. So I'm going to have a 5 times whatever its determinant is. I'm just going to write it right now. So I'd mark this out, That'd be 3, negative 1, 1, negative 2. Then I'd have my 0 here, minus 0, doesn't matter what that determinant is. And last, I would have my 1, positive 1. So plus 1, and its determinant would be this, negative 1, 2, 3, negative 1. And that's that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this simplification up on this one before I move over here, okay? All right, so this would be negative 2 times 5, and then that'd be 3 times negative 2, negative 6, minus a negative 1, minus 0, plus 1 times 1 minus 6. And that would give me negative 2 times 5 times, what is that, negative 5, minus 0, I'm not going to write it again, plus 1 times negative 5. And I'm going to pause right there and go back and do some work with this one, I believe. Or, no, let's go ahead and finish this one out. All right, so finish this one out. It would be negative 2, and that'd be negative 25 minus 5. So negative 2 times negative 30. So that gives me a positive 60. All right, so we're going to do 60. Oops, wrong way. And we're going to do something over here with this. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify this down. I'm going to have to erase some of the stuff that we've already done. But we know we've got 60 for that answer over there. All right, now focusing on this one. Choose any row or column. I am going to choose the last column, I believe. And going by the pattern from the previous page, start off with a plus, minus, and then plus. So I'm going to get the 3 that's already out here, 3, and then I'm going to start off with 0. Remember, it doesn't matter what comes after 0. Then I'm going to have a minus 1, and let's look at it. So for the 1, I mark this out, I'm left with 1, 4, 2, negative 1. And then my last one is the negative 2. It's a plus negative 2, so we can just write minus 2. And that's going to leave me with 1, 4, negative 1, and 3. And now we're going to simplify that now. So this would be 3. Then I'd have negative 1. That'd be a negative 1 minus 6 right there. Minus 2. That would be 3 minus negative 4. So I'd get 3. Then just simplify this down. Negative 1 times negative. Did I mess something up here? Yes. Because 2 times 4 is not 6. 2 times 4 is 8. So that would be negative, what, 9? Minus 2 times 3 minus negative 4 is 7. All right, this is the 60 we got earlier. Okay, so this goes behind it. And that's going to give me, let's see here, 3. That'd be 9 minus 14. That'd be 3 times negative, what, 5? So that'd be negative 15 or minus 15. So we would do 60 minus 15. So our final answer is 45.